What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You already know it is the 904 Strength Club, home of the strongest content coming out of Northeast Florida. Today, I'm here to talk to you about another program that I've released through the Joy app, link in the description. And this is probably my favorite way to do hypertrophy training, honestly. If I really want to push hypertrophy and simultaneously while I'm trying to lose weight, this is a great one because this is only a 3 day a week split. So I can take those other 2 days during the week, because I only train on weekdays typically, and put some cardio in there. And it allows me to use this to meet goals. And it also just really fits with my personality. So, first off, the first program that I put out and that I put a video out on was called The Rookie. And that was really designed for people that are just starting in the gym or just getting back to the gym. Or people that are going to be just busy and they're not really looking to go beyond 2 days a week. They just want to reap the benefits of resistance training, and 2 days a week is sufficient in order to do that for a lot of people. As I get into these other programs, realize a couple things. Number one, they are all successful programs. I have either run them or I've had a client run them who's gotten good results out of them. So there is no wrong program. It's about finding a program that fits with your goals, with your time that you have available to commit, and with your personality. And, this one, I named it this way because, you kind of need to get it, in my opinion. If you're the type of person that actually gets the name, then, you're probably somebody who's going to be more likely to enjoy this style of training and to actually go deep with this style of training, which is something that you need to do. So the next program that I'm going to talk about is called Roid Rage. It's a high intensity hypertrophy program. And let's talk a little bit about the history of high intensity, what it is. We'll talk about the way that this program is laid out. And last but not least, with what I've just said as far as finding a program that's right for you, we'll talk about who this program is good for and also who this program and high intensity programming in general is not a good fit for. And, I think that'll round out the video pretty well. So, high intensity programming. The first really big proponent is Arthur Jones, who was the founder of the Nautilus Fitness Company. A lot of people's favorite gym machines are Nautilus. They were fairly innovative at the time. They were the first ones that I know of to actually start utilizing cams to try to match the strength curve. And Arthur Jones was a huge proponent of high intensity training. And from him, you get Casey Viator, and then I think Casey Viator and Mike Mincer have like a direct line. Mike Mincer, interesting story in and of himself. Should have won an Olympia, didn't because it's political. And Arnold won, even though Arnold clearly wasn't in the conditioning they needed to be to beat Mike from a more objective lens. Anyway, Lee Labrada, I believe, was a high intensity guy, and the big name in the space is really Dorian Yates. He was a huge proponent of high intensity training. Aside from Dorian, you also have another individual, Dante Trudeau, who is still on socials. You can find him on Instagram. Still a proponent of high intensity programming from everything that I can see. I really enjoyed running his the first time that I came across it, and I kind of used his as a backbone for what I'm putting out. So shout out to Dante. Really a big influence in how I run and how I look at high intensity programming. So The way that I've laid out high intensity programming, well, let's general principle, you're going to take at least one set to failure. Some people that have dabbled in this space may have two sets, but the way that I run it is your final set, you're going to do 3 sets with a prescribed number of reps on every exercise. And your final set has to be to failure. If you haven't done it to failure, add some weight, do another set until you find where that failure point is. So there's a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning, because if you're doing sets of 12, you need to find out what's the weight for an effective set of 12. Now, as you progress, the way that you progress in high intensity training is when you can close out your final set of 12, then the next training session where you do that lift, you need to add weight, and you may not be able to close out that set. So let's say you're doing lat pull down. You've just added weight and you're on your final set, and you get to that 10th rep and you just cannot go anymore. Don't let go. Don't get up. Hold it at a rest and take 3 to 5 breaths and try to close it out. And if you've got to do that a couple of times, then do it a couple of times. The good news is that you've got repeated approaches at failure doing that, which is going to have great results. And the way that I would record that in this app is I would just put the number of reps that I was able to do before I had to stop and rest. So sets of 12, my final set, I get a set of 10 in before I have to rest and get the last 2. I'd put 10. Traditionally, if you go back and you look at the old school high intensity training, you'll see guys talk about, well, you would put 10/2, and that would let you know you did 10, then a rest, then 2. As long as you realize what it is that you're noting down, it doesn't matter. That is one key aspect of intensity training, though, is you need a log of some sort so that you know the next time that you come in what you're up against. All right. Because you have to keep moving forward. So your bench comes up, you got 225 for 12 last time, add 5 pounds. You can add 10 pounds on a barbell. That's fine. You might have a little bit longer of a time, so you add 10 pounds, and once again, you get 9, take your rest, try to get another 3. You get 2, that's okay. Take another rest, try to get that last 1. All right, so the way I've laid my program out is you've got 2 different workouts. You've got workout A, workout B. Workout A is upper body. Workout B is lower body. I did add biceps on the lower body just because once you finish your lower body, you can go over there and you can crank out some curls and still get a good pump out of it, still get some good work in there. But it was just more in balancing. So week 1, Monday's workout A, Wednesday's workout B, Friday's workout A. Week 2, Monday's workout B, Wednesday's workout A, Friday's workout B. It just goes on and on and on and on. What's beautiful about doing it this way is it's a very simplistic template. You get to know what you're going to do. You can get through with these sessions pretty quickly. I mean, unless you just run into somebody and you want to talk to them, or you're just really lollygagging, you can typically get through these sessions in 45 minutes. And since it's only 3 days a week, you can do 2 days of cardio and still maintain 5 days, or 1 day of cardio if you're used to doing 4 days a week. So that's the basic structure of it. It's really simple. You're not doing a million different variations of a lift. You're going to have one lift that addresses a certain muscle group or a certain direction of a muscle group. You're going to do both horizontal pulling and vertical pulling. So it is what it is. And you're just going to go deep. Now, that leads into what I think is the most important aspect to talk about with high intensity training, and that's who's a good fit and who's not. First off, even though I've called the program Roid Rage, it has nothing to do with whether or not you're on gear. And it has everything to do with, are you willing, to go deep? Are you willing to do what it takes to beat your last training session? It's really easy when the last training session for the next exercise, you got all 12, because that's a blank slate to move up. But now you're trying to compete against yourself, and you're trying to set the bar high so that next week it's not easy to beat. So you're not just trying to do 6, you're trying to close out the set all over again. You don't want to be at this weight, you want to be at the next weight. So you're trying with everything you have to hit 12. All right. If you're not willing to compete against yourself, both who you were in the past and also try to push yourself super, super, super hard so that the next week is going to continue to be hard, if you're not willing to go into those deep places and find what it takes to get one more rep consistently on every exercise, high intensity programming might not be a great fit for you. If you're, you've got to be driven, you've got to be somebody who's going to set the bar high and who's going to accept nothing less than a high level of performance day after day after day. There's no room for, I'm just not feeling it today. There's no room for, well, that's okay. I know I got 10 last week, but I've only got 8 this week. That's not how you do this. This is, if I got 10 last week, nothing less than 10 is acceptable. And I'm going to push and push and push. And even though I say nothing less than 10 is acceptable, you've still got 12 reps you've got to do. You've still got to commit to embracing the suck for each of those exercises to get through it. Now, what I'll say next is not a way of like gatekeeping or like, this isn't just for casuals, but listen to me. If lifting weights for you, you want to be a more casual affair and you want to, just go in there, get a good little pump and everything, but you're not sitting there looking to just, put the hoodie up, wear your headphones, crank it up to 11 with like some Whitechapel or Suicide Silence or Lorna Shore, embrace some deep, dark, emotional pain in order to get you over the hump on your physical pain and just live that life, then there's going to be a program that's probably better suited to you, for you, 2 or 4. That's interesting. Anyways, there's probably going to be a different program that's going to be better suited for you. You're welcome to try this. You're welcome to run a full 12 weeks. Hell, you never have to do anything else other than run this. But I'm telling you, you're probably not going to see the results as somebody who's going to be over in the corner, in some twisted form or fashion, just hating life for the minute that it takes to get their reps done, because they've got their eyes closed and they're locked in and they're doing what they need to do in order to get those last 2 to 3 reps. And that's not throwing shade on anybody. Once again, that's not a value judgment. That's just about self-awareness and knowing who you are as a person. So, if this style of training sounds appealing to you, do a 12-week block of it. See how you like it. Run it again and again and again. If this program doesn't really sound like your jam and you're just like, look, man, I just want to go in and, 3 days a week sounds great, but that's not who I want to be for those 3 days. There's a better program for you, and I'll cover that one next time. Anyway, so that's it. Roid Rage, high intensity hypertrophy training. Link is in the description, and we'll see you guys next time.